Ladies and gentlemen, this next fight is three-minute rounds, a special catchweight bout at 140 pounds, brought to us by Rio Brazil Steakhouse. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, this man is making his mixed martial arts debut, standing at 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 140.8 pounds and fights out of Front Royal, Virginia. Here is Christian "The Rock" Rodman. And standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist also making his mixed martial arts debut, standing at 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 138.6 pounds and fights out of Oulu, Finland. Here is Olli Karjalainen. And when the action begins, our referee in charge is Matthew Goodhart.
APFC Gun International by way of Olli from Finland. He takes on a tough challenge in The Rock, Christian Rodman from Front Royal, Virginia. Olli is certainly in enemy territory here tonight, but as well prepped as you could possibly be. Rodman opens up with a couple testy jabs.
Rodman looking to get his hands on his opponent right away, throwing that double jab right down the middle.
Good connection right there from Olli, as he is just speeding his way into a grappling exchange here. Now hammering with some knees to the body.
Nice knees by Karjalainen. Did I do
sounded
it? Did
correct.
I do? I think I might have done it, Ben. Anyway, Karjalainen has his opponent here against the cage, just looking that over and under position, maybe looking to land knees. I don't know much about his ground game here. We expect him to come in here and strike, but he seems very comfortable and controlled in that position.
A lot of jockeying for dominance here. What can one guy do to separate themselves?
So, I mean, if you're Karjalainen, you definitely want to try to get away from the underhooks. He's a striker. He needs space. He needs distance. I think Rodman is probably the one that wants to keep it close, and that's less dangerous from him. So you see him having the wrist control there. But Karjalainen doing a great job. He has head position. He has the underhook. I mean, he's landing shots here. Nothing devastating, but he's scoring points.
Christian Rodman motioning to the referee that he's doing all right here, clutched against the cage, trying to work his way out, digging in with one of his hooks. Can he get it? He finds the under. Karjalainen is just a physical specimen here, David.
Very much so. Every time you see Rodman try to get his back against from the cage, Karjalainen is just like, no, you're going where I want you to be, and he's imposing his will there.
Karjalainen simply making The Rock wear his weight, trying to chip away. Excellent work
Very
by
much
Rodman.
so. That might be a strategy there by Karjalainen, just making him work. That way when he does create space and goes to work on his feet, man, he's just not as fresh.
Final 60 seconds here in round number 1. Potential problem with this stalemated position is that nobody's really making reads, David.
Very much so. I mean, both of these guys are young fighters, too. A lot of times when you're nervous, what you want to do is you just want to grab your opponent just to get familiar with her, and that kind of helps you get more comfortable, and that's probably what we're seeing right now.
Rodman with a quick left hand, but Olli connects with a right.
That was a laser-sharp right hand by Karjalainen.
And Karjalainen back in on the grappling. Knees from both gentlemen. Seems like Rodman can find a bit of a separation here, potentially.
Rodman now with the body lock. I was going to see if he's going to work himself out. That was a good position to work yourself off the cage. However, Karjalainen just too strong.
It's interesting how Karjalainen's corner is telling him to disengage, but Olli is content to get in on the grappling.
Very much so. I think that's also a comfort thing. You know, he's still kind of finding himself there.
Big connection by both guys as we come to the final frames of round number 1. Olli Karjalainen and Christian "The Rock" Rodman.
Shades of Robbie Lawler with that dirty boxing there by Karjalainen, just grab a head and punch away like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
If you're in the corner of Olli Karjalainen, what are you telling him right now?
Well, I think we're going to listen in, so the corners are going to tell you better than I can. I saw, though, from Rodman, even though he didn't land a bunch of strikes, when he threw his strikes, he looked very comfortable. That double jab, throwing the right hand. He even swept the left hook around Karjalainen's guard. He seems pretty fluid there. I think if he wanted to create space, I think he could find some success there.
We'll see if that framing elbow is in effect. If Karjalainen goes back on the grappling, Olli Karjalainen and Christian Rodman, round 2 here at APFC. Excellent connections by both guys. Now they're swinging hammers, David Evans.
Rodman just coming out, just throwing bombs, man. And Karjalainen coming forward. This is really a battle of wills here at this point.
A lot of strikes landed. Karjalainen in on the hips. We'll see if he can secure the takedown.
Leaning in on the double leg. We see the striker going for the double leg. I mean, maybe that's why he was so comfortable just in the clinch position. Maybe he has a wrinkle to his game that maybe we aren't even aware about.
Karjalainen certainly working on the wrestling in this fight camp. If you're Rodman, how do you pop back up?
So if you're Rodman, you definitely want to try to get your knees on the inside of Karjalainen's hips to create space and try to get your butt and your back to the cage more. But Karjalainen on the opposite hand is doing everything right. Got to the double leg, got him to his butt is coming out to a side. He picked a side, I'm gonna go this side, and he's scooting his back away from the cage. Now he's in position to land some strikes and even advance past his guard.
The strength of Olli Karjalainen heavily apparent here in this position. 1 minute, 45 seconds remains in round number 2. Rodman absolutely grounded.
Very much so. I mean, he seems to be comfortable, you know, as he said earlier and yesterday, he's comfortable grappling. I'm looking to see how he's going to be able to work off his back here.
Trying to bridge. Karjalainen rides with it. Really just shutting down that left side of Rodman's body.
Very much so. I mean, we see Rodman with the figure 4 on the leg there. That's going to keep him attached, though. So that shows me that he's going to be comfortable there, and he's not really looking to explode up, so to speak. Perhaps maybe wall walk here, but whenever they were in the open, he attacks that figure 4, and maybe he's going to look to work on the opposite side off of his back.
Olli Karjalainen working it well. 60 seconds remain in round number 2.
Karjalainen just being like a wet blanket right here, just making Rodman carry every part of his weight here.
Beautiful elbows onto the skull of Rodman.
Rodman gave him a look there for a second, like, how dare you?
Olli Karjalainen was listening in on the Rodman corner and took his own advice. You could hear Rodman's corner.
So Rodman,
him to throw up an armbar.
Rodman was in a great position to throw an armbar, but it looked like he's going to go for a knee bar there, transition.
Heavy ground and pound from the Finn.
Now the gift and the curse about attacking the legs, it's like, okay, if you get it, you're in a great position, but if you don't, you're in the worst position for your opponent on top to land strikes.
The risk and reward not paying off for Christian Rodman. Olli Karjalainen dominating round number 2. A couple elbows from both guys, but Karjalainen's got a bit more mustard on it, David Evans.
Very much so, man. Just slowly chipping away, making his opponent carry his weight. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him so far. I mean, the striker is doing a great job controlling the grappling portions of this fight.
Talking about grappling, let's take some highlights of round number 2. A lot of dominance from Finland's own Olli Karjalainen.
Here we have Karjalainen just marching forward, throwing the 1-2, but Rodman's like, hey, I got something for you too. 1-2, teep down the middle, just answering everything until Karjalainen made the adjustments, got in on the double leg, and took this to the ground, which we did not expect from him, let alone expect it for him to dominate in this portion of the fight. But he did. He controlled position for position. His head position was great. Got past the guard, got to the half guard, was able to inflict a little bit of damage, but more so just controlled time for Karjalainen on top.
And there's that leg lock attempt again. A bit ill-advised as Olli Karjalainen just rained down some heavy ground and pound. Round number 3 between Karjalainen and Christian "The Rock" Rodman. You got to think, if you're Rodman, there is an argument for maybe being down 2 rounds. You might need a finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that he is down. You know, we saw some good stuff for him, but Karjalainen has just been marching forward the whole time and is really taking control of this fight.
Beautiful
right hand.
Had us both
yeah.
in the same headspace. Yeah. Olli Karjalainen impressing with the striking and grappling. Now again, deep in on the clinch. There's an elbow on the Rock. Wow. These are heavy right hands from Karjalainen. Rodman trying to return, trying to give it back, but Karjalainen's pressure is just breaking him gradually.
Karjalainen's pressure, man, is just allowing him to really impose his will there in the cage. You know, throwing the punches in bunches and then transitioning to the double leg here, which I never thought I would be saying. But he's having great success here as he lands another takedown.
Christian Rodman now in the center of the octagon practically. Near that Smiles logo in the Real Brazil Steakhouse.
So if you're Rodman here, you got to try to look for a submission off of your back. I mean, he's kind of stagnant, so where Karjalainen has him beat is he has his hips square. So if I'm Rodman, you want to try to get your hips out to the side, try to throw those legs up. We saw him do it earlier, almost threw up an arm bar, went to the knee bar instead. Like, he has to find a way to finish this fight.
Rodman trying to kick Olli Karjalainen while he's off of his back. Probably not the most effective move, David.
No, but I mean, by any means necessary at this point. You're down 2 rounds, a minute and a half. You just got to fight. You know, you can't think martial arts at this point. You got to go in there, you got to fight, and you got to find a window of opportunity.
Karjalainen content to just wear on the smaller Christian Rodman. As the fight has progressed, Karjalainen's success has just kind of gone with it. Feels like he's as firmly in the driver's seat as he could possibly be.
Very much so, and he's been just doing everything and keeping it simple. He's not getting himself out of his comfort zone. He's just keeping it simple, marching forward, throwing the strikes he's comfortable throwing it. Basic double legs, basic ground and pound and positioning on top. Nothing extravagant, but it's effective.
Finland zone, sticking to the fundamentals. Now just grinding that forearm against Christian Rodman. This has got to be the most uncomfortable place in the world for Rodman.
Very much so, and there's a lot going on here, even though it may not look like it if you're on the outside looking in, but for both guys, this is not a comfortable position, especially when you're in control on top and you know somebody, you have someone that's a threat on the bottom. You can't really rest on your morals, or you can't rest in the position. So Karjalainen's doing all of the right things, head position, hip pressure, moving forward, and he's really working a lot harder than it may look.
Olli Karjalainen upsetting Front Royal Virginia's own in a dominating, suffocating affair. Karjalainen trying to put some exclamation points on a really well put together win, David Evans.
Very much so. I liked everything that I saw from both fighters, but Karjalainen just being able to stick to his game plan. He kept it simple but precise, and the precision and control is what I believe is going to give him the win tonight.
Finland's own came across seas and impressed greatly here in the Greater Richmond Convention Center.
Ben, do you think you can point Finland out on the map? I suck at geography. I have no idea, man.
I got a B- in my geography class in high school. Let's take it to a couple highlights from the third and final round between Olli Karjalainen and Christian Rodman.
Pressure and position was the name of the game here for Karjalainen. He came in behind his shots, got to his takedowns, which won him the fight, which no one expected, but that just shows you how he has been improving as a mixed martial artist and not just a striker. You know, he got the positions, he got the takedown. Once he got to positions, he just looked to control, landed strikes when he could, but didn't force anything and just smothered his opponent throughout all 3 rounds of this fight, I'd say it's safe to say. Rodman gave a valiant effort, never gave up, fought all the way to the end here, but it just was not enough.
Let's take it to Shane Graham and find out the winner between Olli Karjalainen and Christian Rodman.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Olli Karjalainen!
Finland's own gets it done. Olli Karjalainen finds the victory via the judges' scorecards.